Today my journey around the Panhandle starts in the small town of Ponce de Leon. Yes, I said it correctly. And it takes me down a winding backcountry road into Walton County. Walton County was established in 1824 as a county of the Territory of Florida. Before that, the area was a part of the colony of British West Florida and had been settled inland by the Scots and toward the Gulf by the English. I went this way looking for the old county seat town of Eucheeanna, and also to dig up some history about a famed Native American chief with a respected reputation among the white settlers of the early 1800s. My first stop was the home of a 200-year-old Presbyterian congregation.
This is another beautiful example of a small little country church. This is the Yuchi Valley Presbyterian Church here in Walton County, Florida, and I'm thankful to say that this is still the home of a functioning congregation. It's not been abandoned or left to rot and decay. Congregation still worships here. Churches like this are usually your best indication of being the location of a former community. This church obviously being part of the Eucheeanna community, and like I said, it's been here for nearly 200 years. I'm going to go take a look at the church cemetery, which no doubt will have a good bit of history in it as well. Many of the headstones I'm seeing out here are marked with the seal of the Freemasons or with the Woodmen of the World. That's another indicator of the Scottish heritage of the people of Eucheeanna, because I know that one of the oldest Masonic lodges in the world, if not the oldest, is found in Edinburgh, Scotland. And so it would stand to reason that a lot of these men would have been a part of the Masonic Lodge as well after immigrating here to the United States. Many of these graves are from the late 1800s, early 1900s, and it's crazy to think, as full as this cemetery is, nearly all of these people, when they were alive, were part of a functioning community here in Eucheeanna. I mean, this was a town. This was the county seat for a number of years. Now the entire town is here. You see, a lot of the European settlers here in the early 1800s were from Scotland, and so coming from Scotland, they brought their Presbyterian faith with them. Matter of fact, it's not the only church here. If you look down the hill on the other side of the cemetery there, you can just see the roof of another little Presbyterian church. Now, I may be completely wrong, but I'm just making an assumption here that maybe there's not an active congregation at this church building anymore. But I don't really know for sure. It could still be occupied. Maybe the grass just hasn't been mowed in a while. This is the site of Florida's oldest organized Presbyterian church, which was the largest Presbyterian church in Florida until 1885. On May 27, 1827, the Reverend Murdoch Murphy of the Alabama Synod presided with one elder, Donald McLean Sr., and 15 families.
After this, I went a little further west to check out what was once the heart of the Eucheeanna community, to check out things over there.
Eucheeanna, the first Scottish settlement in territorial Florida, was named in honor of the Yuchi Indians. Eucheeanna consisted of a school, courthouse, jail, Masonic and Oddfellows halls, general stores, a sawmill, and a grist mill. On May 27, 1886, a commission approved moving the Walton County seat to Defuniak Springs. The Civil War came to Eucheeanna on September 23, 1864, when the federal troops under General Ashbeth came to raise and plunder on their way to Marianna and Tallahassee.
In the old heart of the Eucheeanna community sits the old schoolhouse built in 1903.
I do love the fact that the community here has made an effort to maintain the old schoolhouse and keep it for use as a community center. That way future generations have access to it and can touch a bit of history. Now, I'm real bad to make assumptions, I understand that, but this concrete slab has 2 holes in it, and the first thing I thought of when I saw it was that looked like a 2-holder toilet seat. I don't know. Now, obviously it's locked and I can't go inside, but I can see clearly through the windows. Also, strangely, that appears to be a pair of mattresses on the left side there. Not sure what's going on there. Yep, those are mattresses. That's weird.
Finding out all this information about the former Walton County seat town of Eucheeanna has been fun and interesting, but I have to say that this isn't the only thing drawing me to the area today. The place was called Eucheeanna after the Native American Yuchi tribe that once inhabited the area. I've already mentioned the fact that I wanted to dig up some history about a well-respected Yuchi chief. He was known by a couple different names, like Timpuchi Kennard, but he was more widely recognized by the name of Chief Sam Story. Chief Sam Story was reportedly the son of a Scotsman named Timothy Kennard, and his mother was an unnamed Yuchi woman. The chief was said to be highly respected by the white settlers in the area, who had been arriving here in greater numbers ever since the establishment of the U.S. territory of Florida. Members of the Yuchi tribe had been living in the area for around 200 years by that point, having migrated from other parts of North America. A Scotsman by the name of Neil McLennan had migrated from Scotland to North Carolina, and then later he and his family made their way to Pensacola. While there, he heard tell of Chief Sam's story, and of how he was tolerant of the whites, and of how he controlled a great deal of game-rich land to the east. Chief Sam and his tribe lived in the general area of the confluence of Bruce Creek and the Choctawhatchee River. McLennan is said to have visited Chief Sam, and the two men hit it off. The venerable old chief was not only known for his vast acreage, but was also known to be something of a conservationist who taught the whites how to hunt, grow crops, and raise livestock sustainably, as well as teaching them how to conduct controlled burns in order to replenish the local flora. However, with the rapid influx of European settlers who didn't follow the chief's advice for the care of the land, the McLennans and Chief Sam's Yuchi tribe had all decided to move on to other environs. Sadly, though, the chief grew ill and died before he could lead his tribe elsewhere. His last request was to be buried in the manner of the white men, deep in the ground.
And this boat landing is about as close as I'm going to be able to get to the probable gravesite of Chief Sam Story. The gravesite of Chief Sam is located not far away from here, that direction, that'd be east, close to where the confluence of Bruce Creek and the Choctawhatchee River is. But unfortunately, that gravesite is now on private land. The gravesite was for many years maintained by the Muskogee tribe of Florida, but unfortunately, the land was sold off, and the gravesite ended up on private land, and so the land has been fenced in, from what I understand. So it's impossible to get there without, I guess, the permission of the landowners, and I have no idea who those landowners are. But like I said, this is about as close as I'm going to get to that piece of history. Maybe one day we'll have access to that area again, and perhaps the public can go and visit the gravesite of Chief Sam and just be able to retrace the footsteps of history. Real peaceful out here today. Nice and cool. Temperatures in the low 70s. Real peaceful and quiet. It's just nice to take a minute and walk around in some of that raw North Florida nature. I don't do this enough, I tell you that. Boy, if I had a kayak or a canoe, I'd be in this water right now. It's a beautiful day out here. Really nice and cool, nice and still. You hear the wind blowing through the trees. Real beautiful spot right here today. It's a real neat notion in my mind to think that Native Americans like Chief Sam once traversed the banks of this creek right here, and many of the other creeks and branches and rivers and waterways of the Florida Panhandle. I mean, hey, this trail right here could very well trace some of the same steps that Chief Sam and members of the Yuchi tribe once walked.
The tales of Chief Sam have been recorded in various publications of local history, and much of the information that I've relayed to you in this video comes from the county's official outdoors website. Much of what is known about Chief Sam and the Yuchi Indians is generally taken to be the truth, but given that recorded history was somewhat unreliable back in those days, we can't be 100% sure of every detail. But if any of this information is incorrect, I'm sure that we're not that far off the mark. The local Muskogee tribe stands by the general reliability of the information about the old chief, and hopefully one of these days I'll be able to talk more about the Muskogee tribe in a future video.
Oh, ain't that sweet. I feel like the story of the Native Americans that once inhabited this neck of the woods here in the Florida Panhandle, I feel like it's a really underrated part of our history. And the more I think about it and the more I hear stories like that of Chief Sam and the natives of the Yuchi Valley area, the more it makes me want to know more and learn more about Native American history. So hopefully in the future you'll be able to see more videos from me on that topic, because I'm going to try to make a point to learn a little bit more about Native American history here in our neck of the woods.